Been a while because we don't often get customer complaints, but when we do, they're fun. And to be fair, my guys are a little bit at fault. I got a phone call from a customer and he was super upset. Guy lives in a $1.5 million house, and on the handrails to his deck, on the posts, he had these solar powered lights. They're the square ones that just sit on top of the post. You can buy them at Home Depot for like 15 bucks. Well, they're supposed to be like affixed to the post with like a screw. His were not. And as one of my guys was walking by, he knocked it off into the ground. He immediately bent over, picked it up, and put it back. Then he leaned over the deck to answer a question for another employee, and when he was coming back from over the deck, he knocked it off again. Another employee laughed at him for doing the same thing twice in a row. What we didn't know was that the customer, who was in Florida, was watching all of this through their cameras online. And he took the fact that our guys were laughing as a personal insult against him, like they were laughing at the damaged property, when in fact they were laughing at each other because one of my employees was being a klutz. So I get the phone message to give the guy a phone call, and whenever I call him up, I immediately know how this phone call is going to go. While I am sorry that the light was knocked into the ground, it's not broken. And all he did was yell at me for like 5 minutes. I said, sir, these lights aren't an issue. What I'll do is I'll just go down to Home Depot, I'll get you another light, and I'll be out there and install it. That wasn't good enough. So he asked me the question, how could they possibly knock it down? And I said, well, sir, how's it affixed to the deck? And he said, I'm not going into details. And I was like, so it wasn't affixed to the deck. That sort of came out of my mouth before I realized I was being a smartass, and it didn't help the conversation. At which point, he demands an apology. I said, sir, I haven't gotten to speak to my employees yet, which means I don't know the full circumstances going on. So any apology that I would be giving you wouldn't be sincere. It would just be to make you feel better. And we're not here to pet your ego. We're here to solve the problem. So let me go talk to the guys, figure out what's up. If an apology is in order, I'll be happy to give you one. If it's not, we'll just rectify the problem and move on. Then he started cussing, and I said, sir, do you want the light fixed or not? And then he hung up the phone. So I took that as he wants the light fixed. So I ordered the exact light, model number, and everything off of Amazon. 2 days later, it's in my mailbox, and I take it over to him today to install it. And who knew, but he's up from Florida visiting his weekend $1.5 million home, and I walk up to ring the doorbell, let him know that I'm there, and install the light. When no one comes to the door, I take the old light off, put the new light on, and leave the old light on his mat. This whole process takes about 8 minutes. In that 8 minutes, a sheriff's deputy pulls into the driveway. How come I don't get response times like that? In any event, the complaint is that we're there breaking into the house. I explain the situation to the cop, who completely understands because there's 2 lights there. It kind of makes sense. Now that the cop is there, the guy doesn't feel like his life is in danger. He comes out of the house and gets an attitude with the cop. Mainly because I'm not going to jail. The police officer told him to go back inside his house, and he put his finger on the police officer, like pointing at him like this. And that was all I needed to see. I was like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm not sticking around for that. For those of you that don't know, you don't poke a sheriff.